Alright. Been a couple days since I've played some Hellion. Sorry about that, I was with family the last couple days. But, if I remember correctly, we were pretty much ready to go to Athnor and see what we can find. Hopefully that will include a Argus. Really hope for one. On Friday I did come across in the Discord and Steam that they are getting ready to release their next update. I think they said it'd be around 2 weeks or so. They don't have a definitive date yet. But with that in mind, we definitely want to make sure that we finish up our Season 1 here before that gets released, so that way we can we can start over with the new updates, because they are very, very different. Like, a lot of it's very different, at least from what I was hearing. Down there. Oh, our helmet's laying there. Okay. Gotta do some checking on our stuff quick. Alright, so we do need to do a little bit of maintenance with our gear. These all need some TLC, which sucks. Thought I was a little bit more prepared than that. Guess not. Okay. Power's out that way. There goes this. Alright. So let's go ahead and start getting everything prepped, and then I will initiate the warp. And I'll probably take a short break while that goes. Well, actually, I don't know how long it's going to take before we get there. It shouldn't take too long, I would hope. Okay. Kill that guy. Right, we are full up on there. So sometimes that is a fun little bug. If it shows up on there and you drag and drop, it will sometimes not work correctly, as you saw, but that's okay. One last thing that I just realized that I really do want before we head out would be a pair of carbon filters for our ship. Would be really nice to have. That way we don't have to be wasting our suit oxygen while we are traveling. So, fabricator, suppose, don't be wasting oxygen when we don't need to. Okay. We want the carbon filter. There. We want 60 and 50. Firm. Start crafting. Remember, did I leave anything in here? Sorry, I'm just kind of reacquainting myself with where everything is at from last time. Okay. So we'll get these guys crafted up, and then we will initiate our warp to Athnor. Because, yeah, hopefully find an Argus. At the very least, what we will find is some grenades and EMP grenades. Really want to get some of those, because I'm hoping for tomorrow to start doing the actual story missions, and I know that there are turrets with the story missions, so being able to deal with them relatively easily would be very nice, because it could be a major pain as we're server. We'll have to make sure that we bring a life support module with us that's pressurized and probably has an airlock with it, just so we can respawn and make sure that it, has weapons and ammunition and fully stocked up, so that way we can get back on our feet. There's a lot that we're going to have to do to prep to do a lot of the story missions, just because of those turrets. Death is going to happen. Yeah, I'm gonna have to run one of those suits back into our life support chamber. Right now there's nothing in there, so if we die, we're pretty much screwed. Because we won't have a jetpack at all. So yeah, we're gonna have to run that back in there. Take a little bit more time, unfortunately. It is what it is, though. Prepping for inevitabilities, you know. Fun stuff. Got those. Don't think we need anything else at the moment. Helmet on. Don't worry, I didn't forget. Entrance should be over here if I remember correctly. Yeah. It's been a couple days since I've been on. Let's see how much of the Helium 3 we've actually used. Whether it's something to be concerned of or if it's minor details. I'm of the mindset it's minor details. Oh yeah, yeah. Like 3 full days, not even 12 units. I'm okay with that. Okay, so that's the guy that needs to be charged. We have a full one. I'm gonna go put back in our life support module, and then we're going to head out. Ooh. Now ideally we'll be able to get to Athnor with one of our less full warp cells. But we have a full one if we need to, so we can get back to our main base in Bether if we need to. I should say when we need to. Because we definitely have to go back there. That's, at least from what I remember, that's where the storyline missions are going to take us. There's a bunch of stuff in Bether, the Nos Ruins. There's a couple other places too. But... So, oh, that's there. Here he is. How are these guys? Oh, yeah, they're good. Still got my helmet on. Go. Alright, so we got these extra carbon filters. Honestly, they have a decent amount of stuff in them, but I don't care. They can just go away. Anything else I need to get rid of? Cells. We've got a P1 resource injector. You know what? I know I just said that they can go away, but I'm just going to throw them in storage here for right now. We can deal with them all later. Right now, check these. Make sure that these are all empty. Okay. Those are getting a change, by the way. They are going to kind of look similar to those that are sitting around the edge there in the next update, which is kind of cool. And there will be specific spots for them. I don't think there are any on the Stereops, but I could be mistaken on that point. Here's the outer door. We are going to steal from our fabrication module. Pressurize all that. And I think I just canceled it. I keep forgetting about that. Oh, I didn't. Cool. I thought when you closed out of that, it canceled it. So, we're going to steal the air from the fabrication module, which will give us enough to pressurize the Stereops, and then we are good to head out. Fully oxygenated. Yay. So one of the big changes that is coming up is radiation, and there's also going to be some changes. I think it's to the debris as well. I think they're kind of rolled together, radiation and debris together. So no matter where you are, you will be taking damage from the sun's radiation. There are ways of dealing with that. So when you first start the game, you're going to have a fabrication module pretty much right next to your outpost, similar to how we had the airlock there. So I believe you're going to have the airlock, your outpost, and a fabrication module. Not super happy about that, but I understand why. They are making it so that way it is basically an absolute requirement in order to survive. Because of that radiation damage, you have to build I believe it's called nanite cores, something like that. Basically what those will do is they act kind of like a little bit of an energy shield for your ship. And your stations will need it too. They will block up to a certain amount of damage whenever you would receive said damage. So if you're in an area that would be doing, I think Bethers is like 2 damage per second to your ships and stations when they're in that area, and that's in your starting orbit. I think that's what I saw. You can easily, or I think the base. Let's get going first. Otherwise, I'll just sit here and talk and we won't go anywhere. So yeah, so there will be that radiation damage that'll be getting dealt, and the nanite cores will help protect you from that by. He's super close. By making it so it just takes away the damage unless the damage you're receiving per second would exceed the amount of protection per second that it does. So I think the starting one nanite core that you can make will protect you for, I don't remember what the number is offhand. Let's just throw out number 9 per second. So as long as you're not taking more than 9 per second, it'll take away from the durability of the nanite core, and it won't damage you, which is awesome. I'm actually going to go to this place. That way I don't have to worry about accidentally running into the planet. Warp 3. Ooh. Not even going to be warping that long. Nice. I like it. I say that long. It's still like a 4-minute warp. So yeah, so there's that change. Everything is getting tiers. So like right now we have the catalyst, the resource injector, the core containment field generator. We have the singularity cell detonator, the servo motors. All of those. Those are all tiered currently. The nanite cores are going to have tiers as well, and there's 2 different variations of them. The civilian nanite cores, which is what you're primarily going to be using. They have very high durability. I think the base one has like 200,000 durability. So I mean, they last a long time, but they're a consumable item that you have to deal with constantly replacing. But that's getting away from the decay that happens in game, which I'm a huge fan of. Just the random decay I'm not a big fan of, because there's no like logical reason for it. Now they're adding in the radiation. It makes a lot of sense in order for that to be the reason why things are falling apart. The nanite cores that were in them from before have failed. There were a number of the testers that were talking about like lore reasons why nothing, like everything's not completely fallen apart, because it's been many years since everything went to hell. So the logic behind that is that all of the nanite cores that were created initially for the stations have finally fallen apart. They can no longer protect the stations, and only in the past few months to maybe a year have the stations and ships been taking damage, as opposed to the long time frame. And because of the concept of this game of what do you do when everything goes to hell and you can't just go to the store to buy replacement parts and you have to deal with all that yourself, the cores that you're making are nowhere near as powerful as what the the ones that were designed to work inside of Hellion, they're just nowhere near as powerful as the specialized ones. We're just using generic ones that we can make with local ingredients. So as I was saying, there's 4 different tiers for those as well. But then there's also the military grade ones. They provide substantially higher protection with substantially lower durability. These are used for making short excursions into extremely dangerous areas. And that's about it. You don't want to use them long term because, you know, they're going to be valuable for getting into those high areas, maybe before you have the resources to do so normally otherwise. It'll kind of be like a temporary boost to get you to where you need to go, and I really like that concept. The other thing to note about the whole... before I jump into that next part, the suits are getting overhauls as well. So right now we have the Proteus suit, which is what I'm currently wearing, because it has it's basically designed for EVA. It's kind of similar to our current astronauts and how they are. It's designed for long-term survivability. But the Mark 9, the one that you start with, is more of a general, more like a combat focus, I guess, almost. It has better armor, so it has better built-in radiation protection, I believe it is. Sorry, it's been a couple days since I read the patch or the upcoming features they were talking about, but I believe that's how it is. Like the Mark 9 is designed for like survivability in hostile environments, whereas the Proteus is designed for long-term survival in a relatively safe area. So like it would be perfect in Bethra where there's not a whole lot of radiation, but the Mark 9 would be perfect for more dangerous areas. It also has higher armor protection against gunfire. Right now there's no concept of armor whatsoever, so the Mark 9 and the Proteus have the same resistance against gunfire. So let's do a quick scan here. I forget what's all in this area. Derelicts, more derelicts. Okay, so what I'm going to do first off is I am going to add a custom orbit around here. I want to get relatively close to the debris field so that way I have a good sight range. I don't want to be too close though. I think that'll do. I think, just in case I am accidentally within a debris field for a portion of it, I'm gonna do something like that, so that way I just barely skim it. Yeah, let's do, it's gonna be a nice short jump. Here we go. Alright, so as I was saying, they all have tiers to them as well. So the better tiers, more protection, and I believe it also includes a larger air supply and RCS storage. They're also breaking the jetpack out into, it only has the RCS, like the jetpack would, and your oxygen. So it has your oxygen tanks and fuel stores. It no longer contains your batteries, which I understand that. I mean, they're changing it around so that way your helmet is the one that has your power supply, which is awesome, by the way, because they're also adding in the capability for you to use those batteries that we found that I was accumulating for, specifically for mining. What do we got here? Just some more derelicts. Okay, so... Alright, I'm going to break away from talking about the next update, and I'm going to talk about finding the Argus. So, from what I saw of the asteroids here, they're going counterclockwise. Most of these objects are going counterclockwise as well. So, you have a choice of going counterclockwise with them or going clockwise. The whole principle is that you want to, and it's, what I've heard, it's about 5 jumps. You want to change where it is you're jumping to, and you want to, and I believe it's like every half hour is when these things spawn in. But like I said, I have only ever seen one before, and I had about, it took a grand total of about 30 seconds for me to see it, and then for it to disappear into the core of the planet, which, you know, not fun. So hopefully I'm on a different axis than I normally am, and I'm a little closer than I think I was last time. So hopefully we can go ahead and try to find this beautiful little ship. But we will find one regardless when we do the story missions, so it's not like it's terrible. I'm just kind of checking around. CIM, CPM, CTM. The CIM and the CTM are corridor modules. The SPM is a solar module. Okay, there is no doomed orbits. Let's jump ahead a little bit more. Okay. So anyway, I'm just gonna keep doing this as I continue talking. I'm probably going to become distracted periodically, so I apologize. Please bear with me. I believe I was talking about the 4 different tiers of the suits, of each of the different suits. So yeah, more protection, and I believe it's going to have more oxygen RCS and hopefully more battery. But so the helmet is what I was talking about last. Now I remember. That is going to be where you can put a battery into the helmet and use that to charge up your recharge your energy on the fly, which makes me incredibly happy, because right now you can carry along extra of the small containers, so that way you can go ahead and refill your oxygen RCS on the fly, but you've never been able to refill your energy on the fly, which really sucks. At least to me, that really sucks, because that makes it energy the most valuable resource, whereas oxygen should, at least in my mind when you're in space, be the most valuable resource. So that's really cool for me, because that means that I'm actually going to be, probably like I was initially, I'm going to be a hoarder for the batteries. Okay, let's be honest, I'm still a hoarder for the batteries. Which also is a nice segue into a point that ties the last 2 things together, the crafting of the nanite cores and the suit changes and therefore the battery changes. Mining is getting a very big change. And I think I can do... Honestly, I probably can't jump in and save an Argus if I find it because my battery's low, or my stored power is low. Crap. There's nothing there. So, mining, getting a big change. The changes that are happening to it, the asteroids are no longer, you just fly directly up to the asteroid and stick your drill right into it and just start drilling away. No, it's you go to the asteroids, but each of the different asteroids has deposits on them, and there's from what I remember hearing, there's I think 2, maybe 3 deposits on it, and so you jump between the different deposits and you mine up what is available at those deposits. It's nowhere near as much as what like it currently is. Right now you can go up to an asteroid, and if you use a scanner it says something like, oh, it's got 10 million resources left. Oh my god, that's never going to deplete. So that's changing quite a bit. It's very easy to actually deplete the deposits that you're seeing. So you're going to have to go to a lot of different places to get everything you need. They're also adding in, I think, 5 new raw resources that you can collect in order for making a lot of the new crafting items. And we were talking about the crafting a little bit earlier. That's changing around quite a bit too, in that you don't have access to make tier 4 things right off the bat. No. You have to find them, and then I guess right now it's research them, which is right now the exact same process of recycling them. So that device that... Stupid mouse. So that device that we're using right now in order to break things down into its raw components, that is going to be the way you research things instead. changing the fabrication module to have a grinder in there instead. That's how you break things down for resources, as opposed to just scavenging, or instead of researching them. So if you want to research them, you place them in the researcher, which again is the thing that we currently are using to break things down. And yeah, I see those. I'm not really concerned about them at the moment. Only going for things that have circuits in them. But yeah, so you have to actually research things before you can craft them. So it's not like you're gonna, oh, I'm just gonna go and grab the resources and make myself a tier 4, or I believe a tier 2 is all you need, singularity cell detonator, and go wherever I want. No, you're actually going to be spending a lot of time around Bether now, instead of the way the game currently is, which with public servers, it's kind of a get yourself a Mark II singularity cell detonator as soon as you possibly can, and then go to a different planet, because PvP. So that's changing quite a bit. Now you're going to be spending a substantial amount of time on Bether instead of trying to get away as soon as possible. And I'm just trying to orient myself correctly here. There we go. Yeah, so spending more time in Bether, the public servers will be more populated in that area, so it's still going to be incredibly important to get yourself away from the very starting area, so that way you don't get raided all the time. This place is quite lit up. I don't need that at all. Not yet. Oop, oop. And here's another thing that's going to be changing. The disposable hacking tools. They're going to be tiered as well. Now, there's been a lot of discussion. Ooh, advanced impact. Start collecting those. A lot of discussion of, I don't really know what to call it. There's no real consensus on how it's going to function right now. If it is going to be flail AP grenade, cool. Another flail. I was really looking for the EMP grenades, but they'll do. Where was I? Yeah, so no one really knows, at least from the stream that I watched. Granted, it was the day that they announced the update, and it was one of the testers was just showcasing some of the new features, so we didn't really do a deep dive into a lot of the changes. But those disposable hacking tools, the higher tiers, are supposed to allow you to have more option or more uses per, as opposed to right now, one and done. So that'll be really nice. You can actually make useful components to do more than one hack at a time. Now they don't know if it's just going to be like linear progression of, oh, tier 1 gives you 1 hack, a tier 2 gives you 2, tier 4 gives you 4, or if it's going to be some multiplier or how that's going to exactly work. No one, at least from what I've seen, I haven't done much more research into it, no one really knows exactly how that's going to work, which, I'm okay with. And by the way, don't worry about the damage on these. From what I've seen, even when you craft them, they come out with 14% damage on them. So we are going to start replacing our boring small stim packs, which heal 30% or 30 health, with our average, which heals 60. Or I'm sorry, average. Advanced stim packs. There we go. We're at full health right now. By the way, this health meter here, it doesn't just give you 100% anymore. They're changing it to be a little bit different. Me personally, I'm not a huge fan of. They're changing it to just be stacking. Colored hearts, basically. Green means, oh, you're good. Yellow is, oh, you're hurting a bit. And red, oh, crap. Well, we're not moving for a little while. See that? I can zoom? No, I can't. We are at 0% power. Because no sun exposure. Crap. Okay. It must be like oh yeah, you can see the sunlight at the edge there. Let's see here. Yeah, go focus on my ship. I'm right here. Oh. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit. Oh, crap. And knowing my luck right now, we'd see an Argus and we wouldn't be able to get to it. I say my luck, but we've actually had phenomenal luck over the past. Not as much luck here, unfortunately, but that's okay. We will find everything we need. I definitely just want to get like 10 EMP grenades and then I'm good to go. I don't even care about the flail since I'm basically playing by myself here, so. But yeah, I just want to get... Oop, and I destroyed the tower. That's fine. Actually, the more stim packs, EMP grenades, those are two things that I really want to get. And beyond that, I don't really care too much. We're going to find the Argus as we go through the main story anyway, so it's not like it's super critical. But when we go and find that, you'll understand why I want to find it so badly. Excuse me. But I think what I'm going to do is there's not really anything I can do here at the moment. Yeah, there's nothing within 1,000 kilometers, so I can't even like slow boat my way over to it. I think I'm going to take a short break here while we wait for the sun to come out because okay, I didn't even think of that. My apologies. I'll do better next time. So we'll be back in a little bit here.